Hello and welcome to Pit Stop 2 on the Commodore 64. This is a race game, sort of Formula 1 race game, or certainly from an American point of view, what Formula 1 represents. You can play one or two player modes. I'll play one player modes, but if you play one player mode, a CPU opponent is provided. So there's always two players. You can pick a track. There's 6 tracks available, or you can pick to do them all sequentially, which is quite fun, but I'm not going to do it in this video, so I'll start with Brands Hatch. You can pick a number of laps. I'll pick 6 laps. Then you can pick your level of difficulty. This affects how well the car handles. You have more grip in rookie level, and you get less grip the more you go. So I'm quite experienced in this game, so I'll go pro. And let's start the race. There we go. Now you can see I am the top player, indicated by the red flashing car there. And the CPU will play the blue player at the bottom. Now you can see, this is a split screen game. You can see the other car on each of the screens. You can see the pit stop on the left hand side. We'll come back to that. Now, as you can see, there are no side graphics, roadside graphics. Unfortunately, this is quite an early game in the 64, but it doesn't really need them. I think the road routine is good enough. It's fast enough and implemented well enough that I don't think you really need the roadside graphics too much. You've got the map, so that gives you an idea when the corners are coming up. So worthwhile keeping an eye on that. You can also see how far your opponent is behind you, or in front of you. So it's useful for that as well. Now, as you can see, if you look at my front right tyre, and the front left tyre now, they've got a blue mark on them. That means I've taken some damage. Now, if I just mash it against the road a bit, you can see it's got more damage now. So I have to slow down for these corners. Oh. Yeah, you can see it's got more damage. What happens is, as the road tyres take damage, as the tyres take damage, once you get to yellow, that's almost critical. Then I think once you get to white, it's one more hit, and the tyre will explode, and it's game over. So when your tyres take damage, obviously it's a good idea to go in the pits and change them, which is what we'll do if we can get there. Now the control system's quite easy. It's the usual forward to accelerate, back to brake, left, right. Now if you hold down fire, that activates your turbo, which makes you go faster, accelerates you faster, and gives you a higher top speed. But it does use up fuel faster. If you look at my fuel display, you can see that it's gone down faster than the computer opponent's fuel. This is because he doesn't use the turbo quite as much. He has a more cautious approach to go around the track. He's slower, but more careful, and obviously that can pay off because he doesn't have to go to the pits as much as me. Right, I'm in the pits, so you control this cursor. So I'll select the fuel man, pop him in. He starts to fuel up, but you can multitask. So you can. I'm now changing my tyres. You've got to watch that you don't overflow the fuel, otherwise it goes to 0. So I'll just take him away. Go back to the tyre man. Now, this is quite a tense scene. I think this adds quite a lot to the game. You can see that I'm still in the pits. The CPU has got out before me. But now I've got to catch him. Oops! I got a shunt from a car behind there, who's badly damaged one of my rear tyres. That's not so good. What you're better doing is not pulling straight out into the road like I did. So now I've got to nurse this car round. So I may not be able to catch the CPU. If you play in rookie level, the car's quite easy to go around the corners. But if you playing pro like I'm doing, you've got to really slow down for them. There's the CPU driver heads. Now, if you play it in two-player mode with a real human opponent, it's more fun to use rather unorthodox and unsportsmanlike tactics. Like you can mash your opponent's if you see he's got a vulnerable tire, you can try and mash it and try and take him out. Very unsportsmanlike, but sometimes it's a necessary tactic. Especially if he's miles ahead, you can almost let him lap you and then just take him out. Not that I have ever done such a thing, of course. Yeah, this came out in 1984, so it's because it's such an early game in the 64's lifespan. You can understand why the graphics are so basic, but I believe it was programmed by Stephen Landrum with help from Dennis Caswell, who wrote Impossible Mission. So it's an Epic's game, but Stephen Landrum, he also wrote another race game after this called Super Cycle, which does have roadside graphics, but only a single player game. But it is a really fast game and well worth checking out. Well, I've managed to make it back to the pits, I think. That's close. Right, get that tyre changed. I suppose I can try and get some fuel while I'm at it. Sometimes if your tyres are only blue or something, it's not worth changing them. But you can prioritise what you need. I mean, he's obviously oh, he is going to. I thought he wouldn't bother changing those tyres, but yes. Now the race is on to get out of the pits first. I think I'm going to beat him out, to be honest. Right, I'll not rush out this time. Now, it's not too bad playing on keyboard. I'm using keys to play this, but back in the day when you used to play this with the joystick, this game was quite famous for giving you a hand cramp, because you're pressing fire and holding forward for so long. It could be quite painful playing the game for extended periods. Fortunately, it's not so much of a problem using keys. I think the only area I could really criticise this game for is just the road, because the road doesn't shift left to right or change perspective. It's just the car moves left right. It's not quite as immersive as it could be, but I still think this plays really well after all these years. I mean, it was certainly one of the earliest games I played on the 64. I think I played pole position first, but this was certainly played this quite early on. It's one of these games that throughout my time I had the 64. I still have the 64, but throughout the years, I always used to load this up for another game. Still plays quite well. I mean, obviously it's better on two-player, but one-player it's still quite good fun. Right, well, well, I don't think I'll keep going for another 3 laps. I'll just end the video here. But you get an idea of what the game's like. What I'll do is I'll just damage my tyre. There we go, and I'm out. Now this, what am I going to rate this? I still think this is a really good game, actually. I'll give this 8.5 out of 10, which means it's a great game, but maybe not a top game, but it's a great game still. Yeah, 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, I think. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10, because I still think this is a great game.